Okay, it is 9 o'clock. I will call the meeting to order. You have the agenda before you. I know that Supervisor Rasmussen needs to leave at approximately 9:45, right?
Or a little before.
Or a little before.
For a funeral.
Is there any considerations on the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda as is.
Second. A motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Betty, if you would read the minutes of the November 13th meeting.
November 13, 2023, Chairman Cluse called the regular meeting of the Wright County Board of Supervisors to order at 9 a.m. Members present were Cluse and Rasmussen, with Helgable present via Zoom. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Cluse to approve the tentative agenda. Motion carries. Minutes of the previous regular meeting of November 6, 2023 were read and approved with one correction. Approved claims for payment. Cluse gave an update on the wellness program in Wright County. The employees of Wright County met the requirements to get the maximum discount available on health insurance. Cluse will give an amount when that becomes available to him. In open forum, Leroy Jensen asked when Renutrients will be back in service. Daryl Stephen Carlisle stated they are planning to gear up in February of 2024. Judy Ritter also spoke in open forum regarding Summit Carbon Solutions and the ordinances that Wright County has in place now and any further ordinances that may be created. Wright County is requesting that Summit Carbon Solutions follow the current ordinances and zoning laws. The Wright County Board of Supervisors, acting as trustees, met to receive an update on DD 107 land bridge. Clue stated that Jay Pogge had contacted the auditor's office about moving the land bridge downstream to the straightaway per the recommendation of the contractor. Clue stated that he spoke with all parties and approved the land bridge to be moved downstream, provided it would be at no additional cost. Betty Ellis, Wright County Auditor, presented the first tier canvass of votes for the 2023 city school election. There were 1,707 individuals that voted countywide. The second tier canvass of votes will be presented at next Monday's board meeting. John Torbert, Iowa Drainage District Association Director, gave an update on the association activities and legislative objectives. The annual meeting will be held on December 1, 2023. Torbert gave an update on House File 714 that relates to the term culvert and the changes, the obligation to the railroad to repair the drain tile, or tile line at its expense within 30 days. The second update given was on House File 711, which pertains to levy districts. Adam Clemens, Wright County Engineer, gave an update on the secondary roads. There were 19 work orders completed last week. Mowing of the granular roads are 100% complete, and mowing of the hard surface routes began last week. Crews installed the winter equipment with the warmer temperatures we've had. Brush cutting is almost complete on the hard surface routes, and then they will move to the granular routes. Sandra Jackson with Elder Bridge Agency gave an annual update to the Board of Supervisors. The largest program in Wright County for Elder Bridge is the nutrition and meals, as the demand has increased. Jackson stated they would like to expand the caregiver program in Wright County. They're requesting $12,713 for contributions from Wright County. This is a slight increase up to $3.15 per senior citizen in the county. This will be reviewed during budget discussions. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgable to adjourn the meeting. Motion carries.
Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, they'll stand approved as read. Okay, item number 4, approved claims for payment. I think there were 4 signatures altogether. They've been around. Item number 5, open forum for public input. I guess for public input, I would request that if you'd like to speak, that you would state your name so that it can be reflected in the minutes. And then I would ask that I mean, I'm not going to limit your comments, but I think that I know why all of you are here. I understand your concerns, but again, I respect your input. So who would like to go first? All right. You come up here and say, absolutely, watch your knees as you scooch under that table, because it'll take them out.
I'm Marjorie Swan, a landowner in Wright County, farm landowner, live in Des Moines. Me and my sister have property together that someone's affecting. You guys know your job. I just want to stress that your duty, Iowa Code Chapter 331, empowers supervisors with the authority of county home rule and enacting ordinances to protect and preserve the right, privileges, and property of the county of it or of its residents, and to preserve and improve the peace, safety, health, welfare, comfort, and conveniences of its residents. And then I have 12 things you've probably heard, just things that you can do as supervisors to help with the zoning of these pipelines and stuff. It's just a handout I'd like you to have.
Absolutely.
Give you some ideas. It's stopped. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. So, I'm just gonna hit the highlights on this, if that's all right, Marjorie.
Yeah, you
just
can
gonna-
have it.
But I'm gonna state those, okay, so that
that'd be
everybody's
great.
aware of it.
Great.
CO2 pipeline checklist for county supervisors and commissioners. Suggestion, number one, revise or implement land use zoning ordinances to include hazardous liquid pipelines within the setbacks. Obtain legal counsel for intervention in your state utility commission regulatory permit proceedings. 3, organize an intervention team coalition building of the counties affected by the pipeline. Revise or implement county road crossing utility right-of-way permits to include hazardous pipelines. Hire an experienced pipeline inspector for your county during the pipeline construction. That was number 5, I'm sorry. Number 6, document the time and cost incurred by your county engineer addressing the pipeline project and road crossing. Item number 7, communicate with cities, local utility companies, rural water districts, wind and solar companies within your county of the proposed route. Item number 8, serve notice to your county emergency management commission of the proposed route and cities affected. Item 9, help organize, inform public meetings for affected landowners. Item number 10, continually update your board of supervisors at public. Update your board of supervisors. Update your board of supervisors and the public at your board of supervisor meetings of your concerns and the pipeline progress. Work closely with your economic development director and board to ensure development areas like housing are protected, leading to future tax base and population growth. And 12, encourage any concerns you have fielded from government entities to the general public, that they file objections with your state utility board. And then I would ask that those be presented for the minutes. I don't want to give a defense against all of those, but a lot of those steps I can check off and say we've done that. But I think that there's other concerns that I know that Julie and Paul will raise concerning planning and zoning. And I guess would you guys like to go next?
Yeah.
Okay.
Julie laid our requirements for South and Clarion, pipeline, some of her carbon emissions pipeline. 600 feet from our home. And I just wanted to share today a report. I don't know if you've seen this or not. Jessica Wiskus submitted this to the summit docket on the IUB website. The last week of the hearings in Fort Dodge, so it's a fairly recent report. It's pretty lengthy. But I just wanted to point out a few things. Summit officials sat in this room and told us, I guess these are just really compelling reasons, I think, to try and pass ordinances for setbacks. In particular, just because of the proximity of the pipeline to so many homes, schools, towns. But this summit officials sat here in this room and told us this pipeline is safe. There's 5,000 miles of carbon CO2 pipeline in this country, and there have been no deaths. But what Jessica kind of looked into here was that all those 5,000 miles of pipeline are in North Dakota, Wyoming, New Mexico, and West Texas. Areas with very few people living. Over a 10-year period between 2011 to 2021, there were 61 accidents involving the accidental release of carbon dioxide from pipelines. So there have been accidents in those 5,000 miles. Approximately 1 accident per 82 miles of carbon pipeline in the US. Fortunately, those accidents happen in areas with extremely low populations. And I just want to point out 1 accident per 82 miles. When this is in Iowa, when it's in the Midwest, people are gonna really be killed. I mean, it's an accident waiting to happen, and we just want it to be stopped. And as many barriers put up as possible, I guess, so that's my point today.
Thank you, and I will review this. I'm not certain if I read the entire thing
It's pretty long.
in the docket or not, but I will definitely review this.
Okay.
And I'll also pass it along to Jeremy. I asked Jeremy Avis, our planning and zoning director, to be here. I attended the last planning and zoning meeting, and that was one of the topics that we discussed was changing our planning and zoning ordinance to include specific setbacks. And I guess the big question is, okay, what is the setback? If we put it at 800 feet and that satisfies you, but the neighboring farm is 1,000 feet, how does that satisfy them?
Well, I think it needs to be a data-driven decision, and it helps to have some flume data, which we don't have.
Agreed.
But I guess maybe can we model it after other ordinances that have been put out there? Shelby County has ordinances that I know will be.
That are specific, yep.
You know, I think that would be something to speak with attorneys and different counties that have already started to try and pass ordinances.
And that was discussed, and I guess the way that I took it, that when I left the meeting, was that we would implement. We weren't planning to immediately change the ordinance, but we were looking into what those distances should be, and that we would prepare so that when we get the information, we would be prepared to be able to change the ordinance. So we are looking into that. I know that specifically, you're probably looking for something to be changed prior to the Iowa Utility Board coming out with a decision. And as most of you know, we currently have got a lawyer, and we've joined with the counties, asking that the utility board make them recognize our existing planning and zoning rules, which don't have specific setbacks. But there's even questions on whether or not this is an industrial complex that's going into agriculture, an agricultural area. But Jeremy, do you have anything to add to?
Yeah, so when we left the meeting, my board had directed me to contact, I believe it was 4 other counties that have, planning and zoning, have bulk regulation setbacks to have this pipeline, so we can have that information, review it, put something together. I know that we discussed the before and after IUB makes their decision. That's kind of one of the hangups where we're at. Do we wait for IUB to make that decision? Do we go forward? And I think Dean has stated, you know, we have a lawyer obviously on our working for us here. And one of the first things we did when we started talking about the setbacks was make a phone call to him and see, what's your thoughts? And I think I spoke to you about before. He said, you'll be sued the very next day. So that's one of the things to keep in mind, which, you know, speaking with Dean, that's not a fear. We just have to have all of our I's dotted and T's crossed here. So we're gonna look at these other counties that do have regulations or setbacks, and then we'll meet again. But it was just this last Tuesday, so we'll use this week to gather some information. We'll we definitely want to protect. I mean, that's the whole point, and we want to protect our agricultural resources, and that's our mission statement, so. But we're not dropping it, we'll continue working.
That's why we're here. And we want to just thank you for everything you've done as well. We appreciate everything you've done.
Well, it's not over yet.
I
The
know.
decision has not been made by the Iowa Utilities.
Great,
Um,
well, yeah.
Next, who would like to speak next?
I'm Lisa Stuck and we're affected landowners. And I think another reason to fight this is our water supply. They're going to the Iowa DNR wanting to use our water. Well, you know as well as we do, we haven't had rain. And they will take millions of gallons of water and they keep saying they'll put it back in the circulation, but what will that warm water do to our fish? At the hearings, they kept saying, well, the attorney for Summit, do you realize that this would be put back? And it's like, it's gonna be put back into warm water, it's going to ruin the whole ecosystem anytime you get in there and mess with it. And the other thing is the safety concern, like you said, it scares me to death that this is liquid. And what does liquid acid do to metal pipes? And they use this to euthanize chickens and pigs. I mean, any time it will break, you will have deaths. And that's what scares us the most.
Anyone else? I commented personally, with an email to the Iowa DNR when they had the open, period that you could comment. They're requesting, I think it's 27.6 million gallons a year, just at the Goldfield facility alone. There's already 4 existing wells there on the Corn LP property, and there's also the city's water supply. So, I had a Boone River Watershed Management Authority meeting last week, and there's a DNR representative that attends that, Kyle Ament, and I brought that issue up with him also, the concern for the amount of water that they're requesting. So, anyone else like to speak? Robert.
Bob Ritter, a taxpayer. I want to thank you too. I hate to be in you guys' shoes right now. This is gonna be a tough decision, but just some observations I've noticed lately is Clarion, Gold Eagle Clarion Co-op, who wants it so terribly bad, and the ethanol plant, I see they're moving their offices. They spent $950,000 for the old mansion in Eagle Grove, and they're gonna redo it, so. I hope all their members are happy with that, because that's their dividends, their $1 million went for that, and I don't know if they're afraid of the carbon release or what, I just. My own questioning mind is all.
Okay, noted.
But I really want to thank you for the ordinance you've already passed on the drainage. That was been my key concern all along. And that doesn't just affect where it goes to our ground, because in Drainage District 58, we're a sub-district of Big Number 3,
Right.
which runs from the Iowa River to past Wall Lake. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of land and a lot of people is going to be affected, and it crosses it more than just in my field.
Right.
Our fields, okay. So thank you.
Mhm.
You know, if they release a plume study, you could actually get a definite distance. And that's the thing is when we went through the planning and zoning, it's so far from a road crossing, we could document why we need that many feet. But when it says how far from a residence, we could say 500, they're gonna say, what proof do you have that it shouldn't be 6 or shouldn't be 4? So the litigation part, but a plume study would be able to define.
And my understanding was those studies were released in either North Dakota or South Dakota, I don't remember which. They were, the Iowa Utility Board required them to release the plume studies that they used for their route design, but it was only released to the lawyers, and they had to sign a confidentiality agreement in order to see those. So although the lawyer who represents Wright County as part of the counties has seen that information, he's not allowed to share that information with us. So
We have been independent studies done too. There was an EMS official from. This was from Eastern Iowa. And I can share that with you too. I could send it to Dean, I guess, or
Okay.
I can email it to you. But there's some good information in the report that I just gave you too that talks about setbacks and.
Yeah, and the studies that I've seen or that Summit shared, those don't match the scale of what we're dealing with here, so it's hard to get the data, to correlate the data and extrapolate it to the system that we're dealing with.
Right.
You know, the sizes and the distance between shut off valves, so,
And the reason they gave that they were not releasing that is because they were afraid of terrorist activity.
yeah,
And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that there is a dangerous pipeline going through our county when there's gonna be signage,
right, well, I
so.
mean. I've got a map of it, so, right,
They
yeah.
obviously are scared what the plume studies are gonna show. They don't want that information out for you to protect us, so that
I would
that's
agree.
their.
Well, and in the easements, they could go up to 24-inch pipes
that's correct.
without us knowing, and that makes a huge difference too, the size of the pipe. So I guess we need to look at the worst case scenario, because that's what we might end up with.
Right.
We could end up with 24-inch pipes.
On part of this report, they analyzed, what was released in Dakota's from Navigator. They actually had to release their plume studies, so
Okay,
part of her study in here is based on that Navigator release.
okay. Again, I will read that and I'll share it also with Jeremy.
Okay.
And yes,
Dennis Jacobson, landowner and taxpayer here in Wright County. I look at this whole thing as we're spending way too much money putting in a pipeline to bury a product that we should be spending this money on research so that we can use this for other purposes. It seems like burying a pipeline across all this agricultural land for this distance to bury something in the ground that could possibly be used for other things, which would be beneficial.
I agree. And I would add to that, and the taxpayers are going to pay a private company to do that.
Exactly.
Right,
So, right, it
all this
doesn't
money,
make sense. You're
all
right.
this money and all this water that's gonna be used and everything. We're going the wrong direction.
Agreed.
Just when you look back when farmers were paid not to produce corn. Because we had a surplus of it. So what did they do? They used research and they found more uses for corn. And what did that do? Now we can produce as much corn as we need to and stuff like that because of the research and the development for alternative products made from corn. It could be done the same thing with CO2.
I would agree.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm Jerry Lyon. I'm actually a Franklin County resident with a line going through the property. But I think we've kind of lost sight of, we're shipping CO2 out and we need that for crops. And we could actually be affecting everybody's, amount of, it just boils down that if they don't have CO2 for the crops, you don't get a crop.
Right.
And we think that, to bypass any more of that, I think we should, our board, our utilities board is completely out of line because it was, the federal mandate on this thing, plus a tax credit, which you and I all pay. But when they're trying to make a decision on this, they have no authority at all to make any recommendations on this thing. And I don't know, so there's a whole lot we can do about it except sue them all after it's done. And You know, when you do that, you gotta get the heads of all the cotton picking pipelines that are going. Well, we need to really think about, this, the amount of CO2 they're pumping out of this area. I know I have increased my yield almost every year since they built the cotton picking pipeline. And now, yeah, there's been a lot of changes and stuff, but, it still boils down. If they pump the water out from under, we ain't got a chance of growing a crop the way it's coming. But we don't have control of any of this. And our models don't have all the information in it, so they always come up with the wrong answers. And I think we should actually put a stop to this whole thing.
Thank you.
But
Anyone else?
Dean,
Yes,
Bob again here.
yeah,
These two gentlemen just brought another inquisitive mind thing to me. The other day, just for kicks and giggles, I Googled CO2 in a greenhouse. And I don't want anybody to believe me. You go home and Google it yourself and see how much more CO2 they pump into a greenhouse. Then read some more of the articles that are online. CO2 also helps water. Your plants do not need as much water with like 1,000 times more CO2. So you've got it right. It's the CO2 extra in the air. This takes us right back to what we did with diesel fuel several years ago. We took the sulfur out. Now on our side hills and stuff, or the whole fields.
We're adding
on 10 pounds of
something
sulfur.
there, it helps out, but yeah, we read it.
Mhm.
Research is the way to go. I'd agree with.
Might look into that.
I wouldn't argue that
Better
point.
plan.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Judy.
Judy Ritter. When you read the duties or whatever of supervisors, it was informing the public. So how can we do that so we know what's going on? As far as like Jeremy with the planning and zoning and where things stand right now county-wise, how can we get that?
Information out.
Yes.
That, those are meetings that are open to the public and they're posted ahead of time. They're required to be posted 24 hours in advance, that there's gonna be a meeting. And that one was properly posted. That was why I attended it. I guess.
Can we, but I get that and we pay attention to that.
Yes, ma'am.
But can you give updates, just kind of, I don't know, monthly updates where things stand?
Absolutely.
Like
Like a
not
newsletter.
just having an open forum for people, but adding this to and I know you don't need another.
No, I think I understand what you're saying. If I would ask Jeremy to, in 2 weeks, to come in and give a report to the Board of Supervisors on where, on any decisions that have been made or any information that has been gathered by that board. Is,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. We can do that.
And then that's up to us to pay attention, and if we're not here,
Yes, ma'am.
be online.
Absolutely.
You're on YouTube too. It is.
Right.
at least it's not TikTok.
Anyone else? Okay, I appreciate the input.
Thank you.
I take this issue seriously. We all three of us do. We definitely do.
I don't think any of us are against setbacks. It's just, what is that magic number? Because we can put any number in an ordinance. When it comes back to litigate it, is we have to prove that that's the correct number. And that's, we just can't pick something out of the sky. I mean, you can pass a zone and you can put it in writing, but when you litigate it, you have to prove the reasons why, and that's what we're coping with now.
Yeah, and I know that I've shared this before, but that's why we joined with the counties, because we don't feel that Summit Carbon Solution is currently following our comprehensive plan, our planning and zoning ordinances as they stand the way that they're written. They never came to the Board of Supervisors, so, but I appreciate your time and your input today. Okay. Item number 6, hold the tier 2 canvass of votes for the city school election held on November 7th, 2023.
That's fine, all these three.
Thank you, that's okay. I wish we had.
Thank you.
Feel like we're skipping out.
No.
Sorry. Guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first part that I'm gonna hand out is from a cleanup from last week.
Yep.
The certificate of elections were not completed last week. That is just like Frank Beminio, he's got where he can put this up on the wall.
Yep.
His certificate. So we just need signatures on all of these, and then I will mail them out to each city administrator.
Okay.
So that's the first one. Then the second part is, so the second tier canvas is taking all of the information from each of the counties around because of the school districts crossing county lines. The city of Dallas crosses the city line as part of Franklin. City school elections are only held, for me, is in Wright County. So I gathered information from all the counties around for like the city of Dallas, worked with Franklin County. Belmont Clemmy, I worked with Wright, Franklin and Hancock County. Clearing Goldfield Dows with Franklin, Hancock and Humboldt County. And then of course, Eagle Grove was of course Wright County and then Humboldt and Webster. So they sent me all of their materials from their canvas, first tier canvas. And then I compiled all of that information. So I have like each of the school districts and their canvas summaries. And then create the second tier, which gives you the total for the entire school district. Then also for the city of Dallas.
Which each of those counties would be doing their second tier also because they were waiting for our information.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. So we all work together. We got everything back and forth. So that is what today is taking the information and compiling it to make a canvas summary, which is this, which takes each race, each county, total of votes. And then we have the abstract, which is declaring who the winner is.
Okay.
And then I have also the certificate of winners.
Okay,
So anyway, I will give
so
you,
not only public school districts, but also the colleges, right?
I do not, I sent this college stuff to Iowa Central and Nyack and Iowa Central.
Okay.
So Webster County and Cerro Gordo County does that canvas.
Okay.
I do not do it here. So here's the Eagle Grove paperwork. Here's Belmont Clemmy's. And here's Clay and Goldfield Dows. And I can give you. So like, here's Eagle Groves. And then the Darren Robinson 616. Darren Robinson received. Oopsie.
It's 19, that's for Humboldt though.
Oh, that's Humboldt,
Yeah,
yes.
right, so he'd be on
And these are ones we've already signed, Patty.
Here's 19.
19, gotcha,
Yep,
gotcha. Okay.
pardon?
These are ones we've already signed.
Yes, yep, those are all signed already.
Okay.
So here is all the Eagle Groves. I need this all back. You can kind
I
of
just
check
want you-
them out. And you have Belmont Clemmy's. You just kind of glance over them. So what this is like on this first one, this is Franklin County. Franklin County, they have 0 votes.
Okay,
Okay, so that one's pretty simple. So Franklin's was zeros all the way across. Then I have Belmont County for Wright County. I have Ryan Meyer, Wright County with,
289.
Wright County 289. And then one scattering, which was a write-in. So that's how you
Okay.
read these through Wright County.
And
So we don't sign any of these, though, we just.
No,
we just
you're not
review
signing
them.
any
Okay.
I have a
Those are just kind of glancing at the numbers.
question on this one.
Mhm.
So this one, the numbers make sense to me. But the total on this one, 563, but I don't total up to 563 on
So here's quite the, that's 559.
559. 559, okay,
Then there was 4 write-ins and scattering.
okay, got it.
And then on this, it's the same thing. Here's Wright County. Where is it? About 559.
Yeah.
Scattering, overvote, undervote.
Or
And
54, yeah,
yeah.
okay,
And then you have Franklin County. And then you had 4 people vote. There. Humboldt County had 0.
Yeah.
And Hancock County had 0.
they didn't have anybody vote,
Hancock, we only had, I don't even know if there's a registered person in Hancock.
okay,
So that's, I only use all that.
okay,
No, well, that's why.
and do these require signature on
Any of those all that. None of that requires a signature. The only thing that would require signature would be this. One. So I went through and compiled all the information, then I had Deb Lucas in my office verify all the numbers,
them?
and so that's what you have in front of you.
So would it, if they don't have any registered voters, do they even have a ballot with that item
Yeah,
on it?
because you can have election day registration. So if there's a, let's say there's a, you've got 3 acres or 3 miles
Yep,
square,
yep,
but nobody's registered, a person can still show up at the polls and do election day registration, register to vote and vote. So,
okay,
but they have, boy, I don't know, if that's a new, Hancock maybe has 1 square mile, it's not.
I had a,
Sign this.
Yes, please.
okay, we are past time on our timed event.
And you can sign it.
And I'm assuming I can sign those when we.
Yeah, when we're done. When we're
Okay,
done here,
okay,
you
very
can
good.
sign all that.
Okay. Item number 70930, we're past that, we're 9:38. Hold a public hearing on the sale of the property in the Conservation Department. Item A, review and act on resolution 2023-41, a resolution approving the sale of real property in section 16, township 92, range 24 to the Wooden Family Trust. And that resolution reads, whereas the Wright County Conservation Board acting on behalf of Wright County, Iowa owns the real property described as follows. And it's parcel C, and parcel C is the 12.5 acres on the eastern border of that property. That borders the Wooden property. We had, in a previous transaction, purchased a portion of the Wooden property that has one of the last 2 open drainage wells in it that is being worked on by IDOLS and the Iowa DNR to make a wetland in that area and to close those last 2 ag drainage wells. And so this is the consummation of all of these transactions. That the Wright County Conservation Board acting on behalf of Wright County, Iowa, shall sell the real property herein described above to Carol Boyce as trustee of the Richard and Harriet Wooden Family Trust dated October 23rd, 2026, for the price of $99,087.50 as previously approved by the Wright County Conservation Board by resolution dated November 8th, 2023. Again, you remember that 2 weeks ago, we passed a resolution which was 2023-40, which set the date of today for this resolution and for the public meeting. So I would make a motion, I would open the public hearing on the sale of the 12.5 acres in section 16, township 92, range 24 west to the Wooden Family Trust, which is recorded in the recorder's office as parcel C.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. The public hearing is open. Is there any comments concerning the sale of the property?
That's just essentially a trade.
Yes, sir, that's correct. Yep.
Any written comment, Betty?
No, I did not. Did you have any written comments,
None.
Eric? Thank you.
Okay. I would make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And is there a motion concerning resolution 2023-41?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2023-41, the sale of real estate.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2023-41, a resolution approving the sale of real property, section 16, township 92 north, range 24 west, Wooden Family Trust, consisting of 12.5 acres. By roll call vote, Hogan.
Aye.
Rasmussen.
Aye.
Clues, aye. Motion carried. Okay, item number 8. Review and act on U.S. Fish and Wildlife abatement of drainage assessment.
Hey, it's me again.
Every year is this time.
Every year at this time, I'll be back in May probably as well. I just wanted to share one of the letters I received back from them. So that you can see the federal code of sections that they're citing.
I've read the federal code sections that they're citing.
Okay, well, I just wanted to share my letter that I
Okay,
got from them.
please do.
So they received delinquent notices in November. As per Iowa code, I have to send them for any delinquent receipts that are unpaid. So they received 3,
Totaling.
totaling $296.59. So I am here again requesting the abatement for these drainage receipts. I feel they shouldn't even be assessed, quite honestly, but they are. So here we are.
Were we gonna use dollars from?
Last time we used the tribal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my concern is what are we gonna do when those are gone? Cause it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen every year.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think.
We're gonna continue to press to get it changed at the federal level, is what we're gonna continue to press to do. Sorry to be so stubborn. I mean, it's just not fair.
When you guys
Sure.
used them last time, it was like 5,000?
Yeah, because that was like.
We
well, when
play
did
catch up
you take
also,
office?
weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
played
took office
catch up
in,
on it.
1999 or 2019.
Okay, so those were all the assessments from 2019 when Dean came. That's when we stopped making.
And how much was there? 100,000, and what was the money that was in there for that?
For the tribal money?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 100,000.
Two
But
But you're
tranches of
using
50.
it for Allers and Cooney.
That's
Yeah.
correct. We're using it also for the pipeline. Legal fees.
Attorney.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Don't look at me like.
Yes.
Chairman, if I may,
Yes,
can you describe what benefit the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service receives on their ground when it is the outlet for the landowners above?
I guess it's not the benefit of them that I'm concerned with. the thing that I'm concerned with is the landowners above and, the possible blockage of their drainage because of the US Fish and Wildlife, not willing to pay their share of any repairs, which they had full knowledge when they purchased the ground or were given the ground that it contained a drainage district in it. And the responsibility, at least in my opinion, the responsibility of each and every parcel of land that receives benefit from that drainage district to pay their share. And they don't pay their share.
In the one drainage district in particular, DD 90, the supervisors worked with the Fish and Wildlife Service and put a control structure on there to retain the water at the Fish and Wildlife Service cost. Every upstream landowner has an outlet unobstructed by an open ditch. And you can remove land from a drainage district when there is no benefit without reclassification.
But requires reclassification then to
It
the
does
other,
not,
to the
It
other
does not.
landowners.
according to the code of Iowa, it does not.
But how would you divide out the remaining acres? You'd have to,
You would assess extra.
468, 188 of the code of Iowa, and I've highlighted what you can do as drainage district people.
So Eric, I have a question
Yep.
then for you. So they come in, US Fish and Wildlife, they'll come in and they were going and inspecting their land and there's a big blowout about size of a pickup.
Mhm.
And it was very dangerous. And so they came in and they wanted that fixed so that it wasn't danger. So they requested a work order. We fixed it. Now who pays for that?
I believe the DNR paid for that particular blowout. I could be wrong,
Mhm.
but I believe TJ paid for that repair. What you're talking about, that drainage district flows into DD 90,
Mhm.
which DD 90 is encompassed by about 89% Fish and Wildlife, DNR, and County Conservation Board ground, and we're the outlet to the Iowa River. When that project was done, the supervisors worked with them, knew exactly what they were doing.
It was
Took
a-
all the tile out of there, created open ditches to give everybody upstream better drainage because of it.
That was during the ag well closure program in the 2000 and when they created 230, 231, 232 drainage districts, they used the DD 90 as a wetland mitigation site.
Right. But it also becomes the outlet for everybody upstream.
And haven't we
Well,
also
DD
had,
90 is up here, 230, 231,
Right, no,
232.
I get what you're saying, but
Yeah,
for the guys upstream. I'm not saying there's not instances where the Fish and Wildlife Service, the DNR should,
mhm.
pay their fair share. But in this particular DD 90,
Drainage
that
district.
causes a lot of
You know what
problems.
drainage district it is, Peggy?
What's that?
What drainage district is this one?
We have three.
so
We have DD 90 lateral B, and we have DD 117.
Yeah,
And
I'm sorry.
117, 6 and 90 lateral B.
Okay.
I gotta leave you guys. Good luck with this drainage thing.
Well, we
yeah, you
should,
need to do it.
we
Yeah.
should probably, anything else, Eric?
I don't have anything else. Dean.
Okay, I will look into that and see, again, I think that maybe there is some drainage districts that we could possibly do that.
I'm just
Again,
trying-
my interest is the cost to reclassify if we take a large portion of that land out of the classification, how that affects the others. And so I gotta do some research on that and get it clear in my head, how to do that.
But as long as that land wasn't receiving a benefit, though, would be
Yeah.
the only reason we'd be able to take.
Again, the DNR pays their drainage assessments. The conservation pays their drainage assessment. The private citizens pay their drainage assessments.
from the Iowa Drainage Law Manual. Chapter 427, it says structures and areas used for impoundment purposes are not taxable. That's from the Iowa Drainage Law Manual.
Okay, so you are asking to abate $296.59 comprised of DD 90 lateral B, DD 117 and DD 6. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion just because the law has not changed, and until we do it, we're pretty much obligated to follow it.
Second that.
You know,
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of abating the drainage assessment for DD 90 lateral B, DD 117 and DD 6 for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service totaling $296.59, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm gonna head out.
Okay. Sorry for getting you out late.
Not a problem. I can drive fast.
That's premeditated.
Okay, item number 9, Adam Clemens, Wright County Engineer.
So first thing on the agenda is a 2080 agreement, correct, Mr. Chairman?
That is
Yes.
correct.
Okay, 2080 agreement is with the city of Goldfield and Wright County. We're proposing a project, next year, that's been in our 5-year program for a few years. Paving on C32 northwest out of Goldfield to Highway 17, is what our project is. Also, down by Woolstock, we have 1 mile of paving, about half mile of paving into, or just a mile of paving from C70 to the county line. So what we're planning to do is go from the city limits of Goldfield. They have agreed that they would participate in this 2080 agreement. So what this does is follows our policy on the FM extension that we have for a city over 500, but less than 2,500. We'll pay for a portion, up to 50% of the center 2 lanes. For a project that is ours that extends into a city. And so what we're looking at is from the golf course entrance, essentially that's city limits, all the way to the bridge.
okay.
Just in, so.
That's therefore,
Currently blacktop, isn't it?
It is currently blacktop. We'll just refreshing it up with
Right.
what we're doing, adding it onto our project.
And the same thing with from the stop signing Woolstock out to the White Fox.
We're gonna do a maintenance project on that,
Okay.
so. Since
But
that
it
is
will still
not,
be blacktop.
it'll be probably, yes, some sort of blacktop or rejuvenating
Okay.
agent. So the portion of this project, that we're estimating is about $37,000 of Goldfield, city of Goldfield's part, and we always propose that they pay us back in 5-year term. So, and what they do is we would write a check to our FM account down at the DOT. So they just essentially pay, they wouldn't pay Wright County because this project is an FM project. It'll just come out of our quote unquote checkbook down at the DOT for our FM, our market.
So I would make a motion to, and this 2080 agreement has already been through the city of Goldfield and signed on the 13th of November, approved by the city.
Yep. And I will record this with the recorder and the state secretary.
Okay.
And that's where it says,
Okay. I would,
First payment due when?
probably next. Whenever the project gets done and we issue a final, estimate to them, so
that'll,
it'll probably be next fall.
and I'm assuming that this is an estimate, the
That is an
final
estimate.
amount that they pay or their payments are based on.
Yeah.
Will depend on what the bid comes in at.
Actually, what the construction cost
Okay.
is, so if there's any change orders or anything like that, that
Okay.
reflect in that portion, we would assess that also.
Okay. I would make a motion to approve the entering into the 2080 agreement with the city of Goldfield for County Road 32, farm to market extension into the city limits.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Betty, your question, was under three, subparagraph, like the second paragraph, after final issuance of final voucher.
Okay.
You want these back?
You can have, not big deal.
And do they usually submit something to you that they've made that payment?
Yeah, normally we give them a bill. We'll send them a bill,
Okay.
Mhm.
Very
just
good.
to make sure, or we'll send them
It's-
5 documents that says,
We've
hey.
had a lot of changes in city administrators and city things, and so it's just.
Well, the nice thing is that, I don't, our contact is Jim's system.
No, that's nice.
Oh, it makes it easy.
He'll be around for a little bit.
That's good.
Next item on the agenda is the update. Blades are out, blading routes as much as possible. They installed their winter equipment last week. So you'll start seeing that. Mowing the pavements is 50% done. The guys were out ditch burning, where they needed to, and also brush cutting. Work orders, they completed more than the 19, it was like 32, as you can see there, but most of it was the, right-of-way ditches. So they built 2 snow fences, ditch burns, and brush cutting. And then we also hauled 400 tons of ice control sand from Wright Materials in last week, so.
Did we have anybody participate in the standing snow fence?
Did not,
Nobody.
nobody.
Any response from anybody that we requested that they, no response, no. You know, are they absentee landowners or?
There's a few, it's mainly we try to get with the renters
Okay,
and try to say, hey, can you work with us out, so, but. I'm guessing because of yields and corn price.
yeah.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
I have one question for you. The land to the north of the county shed in Clarendon of the, not the maintenance building, but
This is the railroads.
that is the railroad.
It is the
All
railroads.
right, very good.
I've inquired.
Okay. Meetings.
Landfill last week, they did approve their side of the 5 acres at, the cash rent price from our farm.
Okay, great.
And that, is then to Eric and that also, actually, we're gonna wait to find out what the cash
Okay.
rent, is there. I have a DCAT meeting this week. The topic will be public mental health in schools. They did pull out of Clarion also, Berry Hill. So we'll have a meeting of the minds on that. Tomorrow there's public health and economic development that are both at 7 o'clock, so I've got to maneuver between the two.
Can't be able to.
Right.
More important.
Yeah, and then I have an Iowa State Association of County meeting on today at 1 o'clock. I think overviewing our meetings, district meetings coming up this next month.
Okay. And that meeting's on the 6th, right?
6th or 7th, yeah.
Okay. Only thing I had last week was the Boone River Watershed Management Authority meeting. Again, I've already briefed.
Another thing on the landfill, we're gonna be upgrading our scale. Our scale's 40 years old. We're gonna make it a little bit, it's gonna be longer, so you don't have to wait twice when you're coming in with a semi. And they're looking at purchasing a grinder that will do tires, and also when we transfer everything from here to Mason City, you can put several tons on a semi, but sometimes you just can't pack it with all the debris, so the grinder would be able to maximize our weight going up every time. So we're looking into that right now.
Was all the debris from Belmont coming from
Yes.
Belmont to here and then?
And then back up, yeah.
Wow.
That's where a grinder would be able to grind it into small pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, and separate, so.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. I would make a motion to adjourn then.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.
Yes.